I'm sectioning Emma's hair, and I just started from the top of the ear to the top of the ear on each side. The sections on the side are going to be left out for now, and the back is going square all the way to the back here. So I'm going to drag everything forward, and I'm going to handle this from center to left to right. So for the center piece, I'm going to pre-section some of this since I'm in the hollow of the back. And this is where I can rest my hand against her back and hold that hair in place. I'm going to removing about 4 inches through here. I'm going to start out with point cutting pretty deep into the point cuts. So this helps me establish my guide first. I'm going to clean everything up later, so don't even worry about that. I'm now going to jump into the left side. Again, I'm still squaring off, so I'm going to keep everything to the flat of the back using my guide from before. And then one more time for the other side here. Now I'm going to have Emma tip her head forward, and I'm going to clean everything up on the flat of the back. So I'm going to use my hand just to hold it in place. And instead of going straight across, I'm going to go in with smaller chipping on the very end, using the tip of my shears to soften those big points so that she doesn't have dramatic peaks and valleys. It just kind of softens the shape on the bottom and falls nice and soft. Do this one more time through the other side here. Again, you're not creating a new design line. You're just going through and cleaning up some of the stuff that you just cut by chipping in with the very tips of the shears. Now you want to check for balance. And I'm now going to part everything down the center. So I'm going to split it down the center, over direct it to the sides, and turn Emma's body around. And then I'm going to turn Emma's head to the side, and this allows me to cut as close to her body as possible, which is really important. This is why we stand during the cut. We also stand during the cut because sometimes the chair could get in the way. It's a lot easier to see eye level with the hair, so this leaves room for less error. And it also lets you really read what's going to happen with the hair as well. I'm going to continue my shape from the back, so I have this as a nice guide. I'm going to go in with that deeper point cut first, then reestablish. Clean up from the sides, because sometimes you miss something from the back. So if I see little spindly pieces here, I will go ahead and kind of cut that off so it looks clean enough. And then I will take the smaller point cuts through the rest of my perimeter for the sides. While I'm here, I'm going to clean up the framework. Remember the framework we did before? We did heavier framework right above the eyebrow. We over-directed some of this in front of the ear forward, and we just did more channel cutting. And now we're going to continue on by taking this framework, and I'm going to slide cut from here to here so it softens it, because you can see right here we've got a little bit too much wispiness. I'm going to start at the bottom, open my shear up, and slide cut until I run out of hair to cut. And then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Over direct everything as close to the body as possible. Make sure there's nothing I missed. There's a tiny bit through here that I can go ahead and clean up, so we'll just do that really quick. Bring everything into the rest of the cut. I'll go on with deeper V-sectioning just like I did before. Draw everything straight down and just look at the body. Make sure there's no wispiness. Take any of that off. And then I'm going to continue that framework just for the bottom part here. Open my shears all the way, collect it into the base of the shear, and slide cut all the way down until you run out of hair. I'm going to check the front and just make sure that this feels balanced. While we're standing, I'm going to go through and do some channel cutting. It's a lot easier to do it from either the side or the back, so I'm going to actually do the back because that's where it's heaviest. I'm going to turn Emma back around again, and I'm going to move this out of the way just so the cape is not distracting. And I'm really focusing on the back because the sides, we don't really need a channel cut much of that because the density is not as heavy as the back is. And because I'm not doing stacked layering and the only layering I did was this disconnected layer that falls here, I'm going to be aiming my channel cutting from here to here. So I'm going to divide everything in half, and I'm basically aiming it for it to be right in the center of the ear. Horizontal parting through the side, from side to side in the very back area. This does not have to be perfect, so don't be hard on yourself and don't overthink it or take too much time in your sectioning. It's really just to get the top half out of the way. I have an easier time when I'm holding this section in my hand so I can really feel the density when I'm taking it out. It's really important when you're doing this step that you want to make sure that you're not pulling on it tightly. You're just holding it in place, so it should feel loose. I should be able to pull this out of my hand very easily. So make sure when you're doing this step, you can use the wide of your comb. So the wide tooth of your comb kind of helps to open it up a little bit, flare the hair out, hold it in place more at the bottom. And again, I'm aiming right between here and here. So I'm gonna take my shears and I'm gonna point them straight down, and I'm gonna give just like tiny little notches. The more vertically you hold it, the less hair you're gonna be taking out. The more you angle it from side to side, the more you're gonna be taking out. So I wanna be a little bit more conservative in the beginning, because this is something that I can definitely do more of when it's dry. To give you an example, if I brush the hair with the wide of my tooth, you could see that some of that hair is dropping out, but it's not a ton of hair. So that just kind of gave a little bit more freedom, and it took the weight out. It kind of created those invisible layers, so that way if she actually wants to scrunch it and get a little bit of a wave through the hair, she could do that. We're gonna do the exact same thing on the top here. Again, I'm gonna grab all of this with the wide of my comb, and I'm gonna hold everything in my hand in place. Emma's gonna keep her head straight. So I'm gonna hold all that in place. My fingers are held more at the bottom so I can really see what I'm working with. Do not pull tightly on it, just hold it in place. It should be nice and loose. And taking your shear, just in a downward motion, you're gonna do little tiny nips, and you don't even have to close the shear all the way. This is what I'm doing, just like this. So I'm not closing the shear down all the way. Every now and then it's okay to close your shear down, but I would just say be conservative when it comes to weight removal, because you can always take more off if you need to. Again, I'm gonna just drop that out. This is sometimes where you can feel it with your hands, and sometimes you can actually feel that lack of density that starts to happen as it graduates to the end of the hair. I'm not feeling quite enough right now, so I'm gonna recalibrate, put it back in my hand again, and I'm gonna start that part over again, holding it down, doing a little bit more intentional. Now I'm actually angling my shears slightly to the side so I can take a little bit more with my notching. If I give the hair a good shake, you can kind of see where those disconnected layers fall. The rest of it just falls nice and light, and it feels textured to me. I want to take a look at the framing, but we're going to go ahead and actually blow dry Emma's hair, and we'll do the rest of the cut dry. All right, we just finished Emma's blowout, and as you can see, it looks gorgeous. I could probably just leave it the way it is, but of course I can't stop. So I'm actually going to be going a little bit more into the refining. I really like to add signatures to cuts. I think it makes a big difference, not just the way it grows out, but adding that signature touch makes a big difference in modifying it based on the face shape, on the way people wear their hair. So I'm gonna bring some of the hair back first and then kind of see what's going on with the front section that wants to fall out naturally. And even though, yes, I enhanced it a little bit with a round brush and I gave it a little bit of a twist, I'm really looking for shape, balance, and movement. Right here, it's a bit heavy. That's where we started that first bit of curtain fringe. So I'm gonna take my clip and bring everything back to not get distracted. And I'm gonna take everything from the top and bring it down and let it open up and see kind of what's going on there weight-wise and how we can define this shape and give a little bit more balance. If I wanted this part to fall out, I would rather bring this shaping in to the rest of her curtain fringe. So rather than it being so disconnected, I'm gonna take that entire front piece through here and turn Emma's head to the side. I'm gonna mimic the exact shape that I'm seeing through the rest of the fringe here. So I'm gonna angle my scissors. I'm gonna angle my shears the same way as the rest of the cut, and I'm gonna go right into the ends here, and I'm gonna bring everything straight down and just do a nice gentle close, shimming out so that way I'm capturing it with the inside of my shear. By doing this, it actually creates a softness. So you can see there's no harsh lines here. So if you go through the ends of the hair and you actually point cut it, then you're going to be creating more open channels and you'll see more defined pieces. So for softness, definitely using the inside of your shear for that. And we're going to do the exact same thing on the other side. Just to reiterate, I'm bringing everything forward. I'm finding my angle with my shears, mimicking that angle and going slightly below where I want to continue this on. Open up the inside of my shears and shimmy this out and take that very end of the tail off. After I check for balance on both sides and it's feeling pretty good, I'm now gonna go after the weight because I mentioned before that this part is a bit heavy. So instead of me shortening this through the sides, I really actually need to remove weight from the top. So I'm gonna take this entire top of the triangle and notch out a baby triangle right in the center. I wanna leave some of the stuff from behind. I'm gonna drop about 1 inch in the front of the hairline because I don't wanna take out the length. I just wanna remove weight. So if I focus on just this portion here, drag it straight over. I'm gonna over direct it toward the nose, and I'm using the very long piece here as my guide, and I'm gonna point cut into all of this through here. If I drop this down now, I'm gonna swing it back over through here and let it cascade through. You can see that it just blends and melts right into the rest of that cut. If you compare one side to the other, you can see visibly how that just took out all that weight, where you can see it collecting right here on the sides of the face. It's resting higher up. And so now you see this line a little bit more clearly. So we're gonna do the exact same thing on the other side here. Take the top of the triangle through that cut. Make sure I have about a 1 inch clearance around the hairline. Over direct everything over the nose. Use the bottom piece here as my guide, and I'm gonna just point cut through here to match it. And when I drop this down, it's gonna fall nice and soft. Gorgeous. Now I'm gonna drop the rest of the hair out, throw it forward, and I did notice as I was blow drying, there were a couple of parts right over the ear. This feels a little bit heavy. I do like that there's movement, and it's really easy to get distracted because there's a lot of dimension in the color, but I want to do something that kind of brings the rest of this disconnected layer falling, because it doesn't show up enough. It's not as pronounced as I want it to be. So I'm gonna take 2 sections right above the ear, about 2 finger widths wide. I'm gonna find the ear, finger widths right above the ear, from the top of the head to the ear, almost like a headband. I'm gonna take all of this straight up in the air. My fingers are gonna point in, so I'm gonna over direct everything straight up here. My fingers are pointed in toward the head, and I'm gonna take the entire corner straight off. I'm gonna do the exact same thing on the other side. 2 finger widths from the top of the ear to the crown. And this is where I'm having a hard time. I'm gonna actually move, I'm gonna move Emma's head. Okay, here we go. I'm just say that again. 2 finger widths from the top of the head to the ear. I'm gonna bring everything straight up. I'm gonna turn Emma's head toward me, and I'm gonna point my fingers straight in toward the head. Everything else from the back is gonna drop off, and I'm gonna cut that entire corner off. Now we're gonna shake it, let it drop, just kind of see where everything is landing through there. That definitely took the weight out from the bottom without having to stack in any layers. I really like how it's sitting. It still falls nice and soft. I am gonna stand up one more time now that everything's styled and skim through the bottom, make sure that we're balanced. And that is our completed hairstyle. And that concludes our disconnected layering and framework through channel cutting and point cutting. Try this out next time. Definitely try out the Hisako shears. These 6.5 inch shears are amazing for this type of cut. I will put more information in the description below. Thanks for hanging out.